In this video, we'll talk a little bit about your first project in this class, this Build an AI Model project. So before we go any further, the goal is to build an AI model project, but to really see an idea of all the different types of things you could potentially build, I just want to show you a little bit about all these different options you have to actually build your model. The first three of these involve teachable machines. So this is made by Google, and you can see the description right here: train a computer to recognize your own images, sounds, and poses. Very similar to Wekinator, but actually just right in your browser. So I'll show how that looks right here. So here's teachable machine. So it's cycling through the three different types of models you can build. One is a sound model here, clap or snap. You can also do picture-based models, so it can look at this and say dog, person, or me plus dog. I can categorize the music, your pose. All three of those different types of models, really simple to build and look at in Teachable Machine. There's some nice examples down here at the bottom of different things made with Teachable Machine. So you can classify how ripe a banana is. You can classify sounds, snap, whistle, or clap, head tilt, so tilt to the right, tilt to the left, or neutral. These are all some of the things we can do with this teachable machine. These are really interesting options. It's very, very powerful models. It takes advantage of transfer learning, so you can take one machine learning model and use some of that information to solve a related problem. Just like Wekinator, you can save the models that you create. And what's really interesting about Teachable Machine is that you can give a link to your model to others and let other people sort of test your model out right on the web, on their own webcams or with their own microphones. So that's three of those different classes of models. Again, pose classification, all sorts of different poses with your body, images, and again, this could be your whole body, or it could be something with just your face or head or arm. Anything related to your body, this might be a good option to try to use to train. Just a general image classifier, again, just sort of anything you can put in front of your webcam. Or number three, this audio model, so it can classify, different sounds or different words, different sort of musical notes or instruments, or whistles, sounds, anything like that. Lots of different options there. The next set of models here is using Wekinator machine. So this gives you a way to get a lot of these webcam inputs available to Wekinator. But you still do all of your training and model building in Wekinator, just as we've done so far in this class. So here's four different options here. Again, all sort of related to the human body, tracking your face, your pose, all the parts of your hand or your palm. You can make this pose model, so if you open that one up, you can take all these different body parts and send them to Wekinator. So if I click Start OSC and click Pose Tracking and sort of start here, it will use my webcam, and you can see here it's doing that same sort of pose information. So it's taking that image input and giving me all the information about the different data points on there. Where my nose is, eyes, ears, hands. If I stand far enough back, I can get to my wrists. All that information, and just giving you it as inputs you send to Wekinator. So here it's sending the confidence or probability that my nose is in the picture, as well as the position of my nose, all to Wekinator. You can see here it's 0.999, extremely confident that my nose is in the picture, basically dead certain, whereas now my nose probability has gone down towards 0. So all sorts of things you can do with this. Here you can choose all these different inputs you could possibly send to Wekinator. So if you're just interested in something with your face, you can just classify something up here. You could just send your face to Wekinator and send these 15 inputs to Wekinator. Lots of different options here. That's, I think, what's so interesting here. This is really leveraging a lot of machine learning that just goes into identifying these points on the picture, and then you could build something else on top of that. You can also track your face. So in this case, with your face, it will take your, so you can see here it's drawing these points. This can be a little bit distracting, so you can hide those, but these are sort of the data points it's sending to Wekinator. You can see it's sending, in this case, 456 values. All of these data, all these little points drawn on my face, it's sending all of those to Wekinator. So it gives you sort of lots of information about sort of where your mouth is, where your nose is, lots of information about your eyes, which would be important for different like facial expressions. All sorts of interesting points on your face you can send to Wekinator. Another one you can use is this hand model. So this can track, you can see very detailed information about your hand on the screen, starting from sort of the base all the way out to your different fingers. And it can actually track this in 2D or 3D. It's actually taking a 3D guess at where your hand is as well. So you can send either the 2D data, information about all those different points on your hand, either the 2D or the 3D to Wekinator. So lots of interesting things you could try to do with categorizing different, hand gestures, or different orientations, or where your hand is on the screen or something like that. The last one here, this hand model, very, very simple model in comparison to some of the other ones. It just tracks sort of the location of this box around your palm. So it sends the X and the Y position of sort of the top left corner and the X and the Y position of the bottom right corner to Wekinator. So just 4 numbers, but this is the one I used in the previous video. So that was a brief overview of the different options available in Wekinator Machine. You can also take your classifiers that you make on Teachable Machine and send them to Wekinator via Wekinator Machine. If you want to sort of mix and match and use both of those types of models together. Okay, those are sort of the key types of inputs, a lot really image focused. But if you're interested in something else, there's a lot of other options. These are a little bit higher degree of difficulty for the most part, just because it's just a little bit more work to get everything set up and get started. But if you're interested in them, definitely these are quite doable. So cell phone sensor information, motion sender for iOS. I'm familiar with this one. I have an iPhone, so I can sort of help you get this one set up if you're interested in it. Acceleration, you could do jumping, you could do all sorts of interesting things with that. If you have a USB game controller, you can use that as an input, which would be potentially interesting. I also have one of these Leap Motion hand tracking devices that can track the position of your hand with this sort of special IR camera that tracks hands very, very easily and precisely in 3 dimensions. That would be a good contrast with that Wekinator Machine hand tracking model. So you could sort of compare and contrast those two if you were interested in that. There's also an audio input for Wekinator available, which again would be a good sort of compare-contrast against the Teachable Machine audio classifier. If you're interested in building your own in processing, messing around with that Java code, feel free to do that as well. Again, there's also lots of interesting ways you can combine these. You can see how a lot of these we're taking a machine learning model, and the output of that we're using for a new machine learning model. I mean, all of those hand trackers and face trackers and things like that, those are all machine learning models, and we're taking the output of that and feeding that into some new machine learning model that we're making. So that's really how a lot of this is done, is that we build layers and layers upon all these different models.